There's a spider on the ground.
No!
Almost walking on you.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I think that would be badass. Can I say badass?
You grew up in rural Utah. What was that like?
It was weird. In like the simplest terms, it was weird for me. Our closest neighbor was a mile away, so very far away. Nothing like the city. And even as a kid, it just felt weird to me. Like I felt out of place. I felt like I needed to be somewhere else, but I had no idea what that looked like. I mean, with that being said, there was never a shortage of things to do. Tons of animals and like, I don't know. It was fun, but it was very different.
Did you know early on you wanted to work in entertainment?
Yes and no. I say no because I was like the shyest child ever. And I had hardly any friends. I hated being the center of attention. I still don't. So like right now I'm very nervous because I mean, you can put me in front of a room with 100 people and I can be a character. But when it's like, be yourself, I'm like, okay. But I say yes because I would like watch movies and pretend to be the main character as a kid. Or I'd like practice posing in the mirror and doing runway in the hallway. And I'd try and like memorize parts of my books and then do like scenes by myself in my room. So you know, with that aspect, I'm not surprised. Yeah.
You started out modeling. How did you get involved in it?
You know, it was just kind of a bunch of different little things. You know, like where we lived, I had told my mom, I'm like, I want to get involved in this and I want to do this and that. And she was like, well, you know, Salt Lake City is 2.5 hours away. I could try and drive you. We could try and do this and that. And my mom actually did. She would drive me and my sister like 2.5 hours each way to Salt Lake City to our agent. And it was crazy, but it just became too much. But that's like when I kind of first started getting into modeling and I really, really loved it. But there was just no way for me to do it. I was like stuck in that little farm town area. So that's kind of how it all started.
What led you to transition from modeling to acting?
So I just kind of started realizing that with acting, you can do, like there's so much more that you can do. You can be yourself and you can be this character while being yourself and you don't have to change, like you don't have to do anything crazy. And I just started training and I started falling in love with like storytelling and creating, and it was nothing like modeling. And I loved that because with modeling, it's like you're just a pretty face. People just assume you're stupid. You are just an object pretty much. Whereas with acting, you can be whoever you want to be and you can tell a story and it's fun and exciting and yeah.
You could kind of make it your own.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, my very first time on a film set was for High School Musical 3. I was just a background, but I was like in love. Like I was obsessed. I met Zac Efron. I met Corbin Bleu, I think is his name. If that's wrong, cut this out. But like it was a standard 12-hour day. You know, people were just complaining like crazy. I want to leave. And I looked at my mom and I was like, I wanted to come back and do this tomorrow. Like, seriously, I'll come back whenever you want. And so that's when I knew, like, even as just an extra, I was like, this is what I want to be doing. And so I started training and I started really from that point kind of, okay, what do I need to do to make this a reality?
How important is having a support system around you?
Having a support system is everything, but it's also, I mean, there was a time when I didn't have anybody who believed that I could do this. And, you know, for whatever reason, it'd be like, oh, you don't have family in LA, you don't live in LA, you can't do this and this and this. And where I grew up, acting is not a thing. Like And this is fine. It wasn't for me, but you go to college and you get married and you have like 6 kids. And so it's just unheard of to like follow this pipe dream, if you want to call it that. And so for a really long time, I had nobody to really have my back, and I just had to believe in myself. And that's really important.
What has been the biggest challenge you have faced and overcome?
I think the biggest one was when I left my day job a couple years ago. I made the decision to quit and pursue acting full time. And that was probably the hardest decision I have ever made, because it's just not, it's crazy. I mean, I had a really good job. It was great pay, good benefits, it was stable. But I was just like so unhappy. I would miss auditions because I had to be at work. And one of the auditions that I missed was for Yellowstone. And I was just so torn because I knew exactly like what I wanted to be doing with my life, but I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know what I needed to do to like get there, but I saw it. Like I knew it was a possibility, but I was just stuck. And I hated my job, honestly. Like it was just the worst. I would get off my shift and I would go to my car and I would just sit there for 20 minutes and just cry. And it took a huge toll on me. It got to the point where I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping, I was just so upset all the time. And I knew that like if I kept going on that route without changing anything, I don't know, I might not be sitting here today. And so I had to make a decision for my own mental health and for my own well-being, and I chose to leave, and it was reckless, and it's been a struggle, but it's been worth it. 100%, and I would do it again, and I would do it sooner.
What advice would you have for others wanting to get a start in this industry?
I would say if there's any other profession that you want to do that would, satisfy you, go do that. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, it's really hard, and I think people underestimate just how much like goes into this. But I think if you're watching this and you're serious and you're like, wow, I really want to be an actor, get on a film set, first of all. Be an extra for a day, and you'll know by the end of that day, for sure. Like 12 hours is up, you'll have learned so much, and I think you'll know if you want to do it. Train like crazy. But above all, I would just encourage people to go for it. Why not? I think that anybody can do it. I don't think there's a single person out there who couldn't do it if they really, really wanted to, and if they really put their heart and soul into believing and working hard. I think they can do anything.
What's something people would be surprised to learn about you?
Probably, like, I have an array of health issues from the time I was a kid, and people like would never guess just looking at me. But like when I was 10 or 11, I was diagnosed with scoliosis, which is curvature of the spine. So my spine is pretty much like in an S shape. And when I was 12, I think, I had to have surgery on my spine, and they went in and like literally crushed my bones in there to kind of like shift everything. And so I have 2 metal bars supporting my back, and they did that to hopefully prolong the life of my back and like my mobility and stuff like that. But it really like affects me on a day-to-day basis. I'm in pain a lot, like all the time. So people don't know that like ever unless I tell them, but I have a huge scar like from here to like my lower back, which is kind of cool. It's kind of badass. And then in, I think it was 2016, I was diagnosed with skin cancer, and I still have it, but at least it's something I can go in and get it taken care of. But just stuff like that, like people just don't know anything about that.
Looking back years from now, what do you hope to see?
I want to look back and know that I did my best, and that I tried, and that I kept trying through everything. That's all that matters to me. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. This industry is so crazy like that. You just never know. You never know what's going to happen. So you'll probably be just as surprised as I am if something happens.